Welcome to Toastmaster Time, the show that's got everybody talking. I'm Justin Paras, and I'm super excited to be your host for tonight's episode. Just like in a regular Toastmasters meeting, we're going to have prepared speeches and evaluations. Usually we have a designated evaluator, but tonight is really special because each of our speakers, who are seasoned Toastmasters, are going to evaluate each other. We've got some great speeches lined up here today. Our first speaker is going to talk about a transformative experience involving a teacher. Our second speaker is going to talk about a digital detox. And then our third speaker is going to teach you how to wield a sword. That's what I love about this show. You never know what you're going to hear on Toastmaster Time. Our first speaker, Elaine Lung, noticed she was spending too much time online. Does that sound like you? Elaine decided to start a digital detox process, and she's going to share with us what she's discovered through that process. Elaine is a member of Silicon Valley Improv Masters. She's working on the presentation mastery pathway. The project is for her to write a speech with a purpose. Elaine Lung, the present, Elaine Lung.
Imagine, beautiful spring day in nearby Sunnyvale, California. I'm walking down the street towards the library, and I'm enjoying the beautiful spring day. The houses, tree-lined streets, and here comes a lady with a baby stroller coming at me. And I took a look, and I thought she's missing something, because as she's walking down the street, her eyes glued on the cell phone, pushing the carriage. She's missing the beauty of the day. And then I took another look at the baby in the carriage, who was a little older than a baby. He was holding an iPad. And they both were staring at the screens, walking down the street, missing the beautiful day. The chance to hear the birds, to see what's going on, and hopefully not walk into traffic. Well, that was about 10 years ago. So let's fast forward to just a couple months ago. My husband and I are out driving, and we're going to pull into a driveway of a shopping center. And as we turned, he had to slam on the brakes because right across the driveway, smiling broadly at his phone, happily walked a man who we would have hit had we not slammed on the brakes. No situational awareness at all, no awareness of the present. And then just a few months ago, I was sitting in bed, scrolling. And it was getting late. Okay, it's midnight, scrolling some more. Oh, it's 1, scrolling. 3 a.m.? Something is definitely wrong here. I'm turning into the zombies, missing the present. I did a little research, and this is what I found out. According to Sean Parker, one of the founders of Napster, these apps on our phones are designed to be addictive. They're designed to suck us in. We start to worry about what we're missing out. We have to go check and see if someone liked our post because it gives us a dopamine hit. We start to scroll and they start to offer things that we're interested in or we think we're interested in because it knows what we've searched in the past. And then we're surprised. Oh, cool, I want to read about that. Oh, and that. Another dopamine hit, another dopamine hit. They've hacked our brains to make these apps addictive. And once I realized that they want our focus, they want our attention, that's what they deal in, I started to think, I think I'm not going to give them what they want. I'm going to look into how I can get off the phone so much, or definitely start using it as a tool, not as this computer that's in my pocket all the time, sucking away all my attention and focus. According to a U.S. government study, 48% of the world's population who has a smartphone is addicted to the smartphone. They're suffering from fear of missing out. They crave to have the phone with them. They need it, and they feel an urge to go check it frequently. And then they're even missing out on the present, on developing real-world relationships and friendships and substituting it with what they can find online. I wanted to get away from that. I wanted to detach and detox from the phone a little bit. Thanks to, ironically, an app called Hallow, I found a digital detox program and I started to look into it. So what had happened, what did I find? I have 3 things to share with you that you might consider trying as well. The first thing, they said, all right, according to the Digital Detox program, if you're committed to do it, go on your phone and take off just one app and see how it goes. So I did. All right, which one do I use the least? I'm not dumb, right? Get rid of that, okay. And then the week went by and it wasn't too bad, but I thought, I don't know, that seemed a little too easy. Was that really a detox? Week 2, this upped the ante. They said, all right, you did okay removing one. Now try all of them. Go whole hog. Remove all the social media apps. Remove those apps that are sucking up your time. The games, the news apps, the things that you compulsively need to check to see what's going on. Remove them all and see how you do. So I did. I removed them all. And you know what? My phone's was so much easier to deal with because without all those notifications popping up all the time, my battery lasts like 2 days now when it used to hardly last a day. And the other thing I found was that I can manage this urge to check frequently because I can do all of the things that I used to do on my phone, on my laptop, which stays in the office. So now, step 3, leaving my phone in the office on the charger instead of next to my bed, leaves me time to get healthier quality of sleep without that urge to pick up the phone and see what's going on. So what did I do instead? I picked up a book that I'd been meaning to read for years, How to Play Chess. Now I know like what all the pieces mean and how they move. So now I have to take another step into the real world and get a chess set and start playing. I guess I could play online in the meantime, but I want to get more in touch with what's going on in the present. So I invite you, if you're tired of giving these companies your focus and attention, why not try to detach from your phone? Try taking 1 app off, and then 2, and then the ones that really hurt, that you're really sucked into. Take them all off if you can. And then you'll find you're using the phone as a tool. Or I just want to be clear, I'm not taking off things like my banking app or the airline apps, things that are really useful tools on the phone. Those are still on there, but the time wasters are gone. And then 3, leave that phone in another room at night so you can get some quality sleep. I found that I'm sleeping better. You can start to dream again. And as I'll leave you with a Lao Tzu quote, if you want to be depressed, live in the past. If you want to be anxious, live in the future. But if you want to be at peace, live in the present.
Wow, thank you so much, Elaine, for that speech. I know a lot of our viewers are sitting at home saying, I need to do a digital detox, but they just don't know how to do it and they don't have the inspiration. But you not only provided the steps to do a digital detox, but you inspired them with reasons why they should do it. Please come on over for a short interview.
Thank you.
Wow, thank you for giving that speech.
Yeah, my pleasure.
I'm sure it's relevant for a lot of people, including myself. I need to do a digital detox. So I've seen your name in a lot of Toastmasters emails and flyers. You're pretty well known. But for our audience, can you share with us how long have you been part of this organization?
Right. District 57, I've been a member for just a few years, but I joined Toastmasters District 4, it was called, back in 1999. You can do the math. But then it split, and so I've been a member of 4, 101, and 57, so it's been a while.
Phenomenal. So when you think back on your journey, what would you say has been the most impactful part of your Toastmasters experience?
Kind of like what we're doing now. Most people won't trouble themselves to go out and do things that stretch them, I think, or push themselves to do things that are uncomfortable or inconvenient. And I think coming out on a rainy night and late.
It's not easy.
And doing a speech like this in a TV studio, I mean, that pushes me. So that's why I keep in Toastmasters, because it's always challenging me and presenting things that challenge me.
And there's always something to improve on, always something to learn as well.
Yes, absolutely.
So there may be viewers out there who are apprehensive about giving speeches. They may be nervous about that whole idea. What would you say to them to help them alleviate some of that anxiety?
Right, because I joined Toastmasters because I was so frightened to speak to a group. Yeah,
Wow.
absolutely petrified. I was an engineer by training.
Okay.
So I had to join to make my career improve, because it wasn't. So what I found is probably the biggest step as a beginner Toastmaster was when I realized that no one, what do I want to say? You need to care about the audience more than about yourself. You need to care more about the message you're transmitting and presenting to them as a gift, rather than how you look and do I look strange? More than you're concerned about that yourself. So once you put your focus on the audience, I think your nerves will lessen and you'll enjoy yourself more because you care more about them.
That's a phenomenal message. And then, like you mentioned, the more you focus on them, the less you probably think about yourself and more about giving them something of value, be it a gift.
100%.
All right. Well, let's hear what your evaluator thinks about your speech.
Okay.
All right. Like I mentioned, we're going to have the speakers evaluate each other. So to evaluate Elaine's speech, we have our third speaker, who you're going to hear more from later on, Derrick Ho, provide our evaluation. Derrick, welcome to Toastmaster Time. Please share with us your thoughts on Elaine's speech.
Thanks, Justin. Elaine, your speech was amazing. I really like how you brought a relevant topic to all of us right here in the Silicon Valley, where we are surrounded 360 degrees surrounded by digital doodads. You provided us a solution out of it. However, I do have a suggestion for you that could make your speech better. I think at the beginning, you should start with addiction. Talk about how people are addicted to drugs. They simply cannot stop it. But now, in modern day, we have a drug-free addiction. Then you begin your story as you talk about those people, those babies, those kids, all glued to their screens. I think that would be really good for your speech. All in all, I love how you incorporated a story into your speech. I would like to listen to it again and learn as much as I can because you are a master at storytelling. Back to you, Justin.
Thank you so much, Derrick, for that evaluation. Elaine, I love the idea of being present in your speech. It reminded me of a billboard I saw where it says, the best present you can give somebody is to be present. So thank you again for coming on to the show and hope to have you back in the future.
My pleasure.
Here. Our next speaker is Santosh Kumar, who's going to share a powerful story of transformation and how a teacher can instill resilience and strength in his or her students, playing a pivotal role in shaping their lives. Santosh is a member of 2 clubs in District 57. Those clubs are CBC Toastmasters, which is my home club, and Union City Toastmasters. He's working on the presentation mastery pathway. The speech he'll be delivering is a level 3 elective where the objective is to inspire your audience. Santosh Kumar, be a great teacher. Be a great teacher, Santosh Kumar.
How many of you believe that a great teacher inspires? Let's be real. What does it take really to be a great teacher? You don't just inspire, you survive your students first. Now, every great teacher has that one special student who turns the classroom into a magic show. That student was me. My teacher, Miss Rachel, didn't just teach. She performed an emergency brain surgery on my attention span. Let me rewind. I was young, rebellious 10th grader in India. I always sat in the front row, Not because I was studious, because of pretty Nancy, she said to me. Her green hazel eyes and black curly hair had a hypnotic effect on me. One day, Miss Rachel caught me staring at Nancy. Santosh, pay attention. You failed in all your tests because you drew Nancy's face on your answer sheets instead of answering the questions. You will fail in final exams too. The entire class, even Nancy, I felt terribly humiliated. Then Miss Rachel said, see, only you can stop that. You can get good grades, but you need to apply yourself. So, prove yourself. The entire class remained silent. Somewhere between the humiliation and her challenging words, I felt the determination to improve my grades. So I challenged, Miss Rachel, I will prove it that I too can be at the top. But the challenge was easy to make, but difficult to deliver. I could not understand any of the subject. During a math test, the question paper asked me to prove that a plus b the whole square is equal to a square plus b square plus 2ab. I thought, wait, I never said it. Why do I have to prove it? I felt the question paper was accusing me of something that I didn't do it. I stared at the question paper and the time clock, hoping time would solve the problem. But Miss Rachel noticed me and said, the time will pass, but will you pass? Ashamed, I turned in my sheets, walked out. Now, I'm an outstanding student, standing outside the class all the time. I failed again terribly. While I was struggling with this at school, at home, I had the worst time of my life. My parents were getting divorced. Imagine a 14-year-old going through this mental trauma. I felt like an orphan, lonely, and helpless. I became a loner. I withdrew from my friends. I lost interest towards Nancy. I moved to the last row in class. I even thought about quitting school. The final exams were a few months away. One evening, Rachel ma'am saw me sitting alone in the playground. She walked up to me and said, I'm so sorry to hear about your parents' divorce. I burst into tears. She immediately held my hands and said, I don't have children, but I would be proud to have a son like you. I know you got the full potential to be at the top. I'm here for you. You need to believe in yourself. This was a turning point. I felt like an orphan who had just found his mother. I became focused, self-disciplined, studied hard every single day. Miss Rachel stayed late, taught me algebra, math, everything, all other subjects. Her love, constant encouragement inspired me to write final exams with confidence. The 2 months later, the day of the result, I was so nervous. Miss Rachel proudly announced, Dear students, Santosh had scored 100 in most of the subjects. He stands at the top of the class. My heart burst with pride and joy. I felt deeply grateful to my teacher. I said, Miss Rachel, thank you so much. I couldn't have done it without you. She gave me a warm hug and said, You're my boy. You not only scored 100% in exams, but also 100% in life. At that moment, zero had become a hero. Miss Rachel touched my very soul. She taught me true character is built in adversity. My parents broke up, my heart broke, my life broke, but my will wasn't broken. Rachel ma'am gave me the resilience and hope to unleash my full potential and showing no obstacle, no fear, and no failure could define me. Sadly, Miss Rachel had passed away a few years ago. Her legacy still lives on. She believed in me when I couldn't believe in myself. Now, I instill that belief in others. I mentor young students. I give them the hope and strength to rise above their fears and failures. No matter what role you play, teacher, parent, coach, or mentor, our job is simple. We need to believe in those around us. When someone fails again and again, they can lose their confidence and feel terribly humiliated. In those dark moments, we need to stand by their side through thick and thin so they can discover their potential. We sow the seeds of love, hope, and belief in their hearts. And those seeds would sprout into strength. Can you inspire like Miss Rachel? Can you give someone the belief to unleash their full potential? Inspire, inspire, inspire. Be a great teacher.
Thank you, Santosh, for sharing such an inspirational and an encouraging story. I'm sure our viewers at home really enjoyed that speech and learned a lot from you. Please come on over to the table for a short interview. Thank you for coming on to Toastmaster Time. We know each other because we're part of the same home club, and I know you're part of many clubs. I'm sure there's people out there watching this show, and they're thinking, there's no way I could deliver a speech like that. What would you say to those people?
Your story is very important to the world. Never leave the world without telling your story. Because every moment in life, we go through pain, regrets, shame, incomprehensible demoralization, but we can turn that pain into power. From being ordinary to extraordinary, from zero to a hero.
Wow. You've got a lot of wisdom. So I'm going to ask you another question to hear more of your wisdom. A lot of people get nervous when speaking in front of an audience. I'm guessing you've worked a lot on that and you don't get as nervous as most people. What would you say to people out there who get extremely nervous sharing their story in front of a group of people?
First things first, you care about your message, and always, someone said magic of 5 Ps. Proper practice prevents poor performance. Stage time, stage time, stage time. Unfortunately, there is no magic pill nor Dr. Phil. Only will and skill to voice your story, reclaim your glory, and share your victory. Get up, speak up, mess up, it's okay. That's what Toastmasters have taught me. No matter how many times you fall down, you get up again, you try again. And the moment I focus on my message and the audience, the nervousness naturally slows down. It comes along with the practice. When we share our experience, strength, and hope, there is a psychic change happens inside, right? There's a transformation happens. And then you are touching and changing and transforming a people's life. Mm-hmm. There is an indescribable feeling. When you hit the bed, I know I did something phenomenal to help people.
That's
I think
amazing.
It's a shift in our thinking.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that with us. I'm excited to hear Elaine's evaluation. Elaine, please share with us your thoughts on Santosh's speech.
Santosh, it's a pleasure to have such a passionate speaker give a speech and give me the opportunity to evaluate you. A few thoughts on what I've really enjoyed and a couple suggestions on how I would think you could take it to the next level. So as you started with a personal story, it's the best because personal stories we can relive and the emotion comes out naturally through it. The dialogue makes it interesting. We could see Miss Rachel, we could see you. And reliving the story on stage with us demonstrates like nothing else. Fabulous idea to tell your own story. And then your passion for it, wow, it just came through in your word choice, in your vocals, the movements, everything about it. It was just a well put together story. So how to improve it? I have a couple suggestions for your consideration. early in the speech, you introduced Miss Rachel to us, and you introduced yourself in the front row, dreaming about the girl next to you, and Ms. Rachel came and had some conversation with you. And then she came back later and had conversation. I suggest you establish the characters a little stronger in your speech, so even if the stage is rather limited, we have a clear idea of who's giving which line at what time, or if you're just doing a narration line to describe what's going on. So to help with that, you might think about turning just slightly or just minuscule to help us see, but when you're talking to an authority figure, as a student, look up, and then she could look down. But just to establish something very small like that would help clarify who's saying what line. And then you could pause a little more too, to have her look down with emotion, sadness perhaps, when you were connecting in that wonderful climactic point where she was saying, I wish I had a son like you. And then you can react to that moment and then look up and have that beautiful emotional moment, maybe with fewer words or even no words. So a little more establishment of that, I think, would help a lot. Now, again, wonderful, passionate speech and so inspiring. I want to hear more from you, and please keep telling this story.
Thank you so much, Elaine. Phenomenal evaluation where you incorporated the sandwich technique. For our viewers at home, the sandwich technique is when the evaluator starts with positive feedback, then goes to the constructive feedback, and closes it off with more positive feedback, forming a sort of evaluation sandwich, if you will. Santosh, what I loved about your speech was the dialogue. You took on the characters, you brought them to life, and your dialogue really made me feel I was in the scenes and in your story. And I could feel it was really coming from inside. So thank you for sharing again your passionate story and the lesson you learned from that from Miss Rachel. We look forward to having you on Toastmaster Time again. Have you ever wanted to learn how to wield a sword? I took martial arts at some point in my life. I never got to the sword part, but I did want to learn. Well, if you've ever wanted to learn how to use a sword like me, pick up a stick and get ready, because our third and final speaker, Derrick Ho, is going to show you how to use a sword. Derrick is a member of the same club Santosh and I are part of, which is Citizens for Better Communicators, otherwise known as CBC Toastmasters. We're based in Fremont, just in case you want to know. He's working on the engaging humor pathway. This is a level 1 project where Derrick's objective is to get accustomed to using vocal variety and body language. Derrick Ho, an introduction to the sword. An introduction to the sword, Derrick Ho.
Think back in time to your childhood. You go outside to play. You go to the park where there's grass, where there's trees. Then you see it. Oh, it's perfect. It never happens. You found the perfect stick. Most sticks branch out in every direction, but this one is straight. Then you open the doors to imagination land. You tell yourself, I am a pirate. Ha! Take that. Stand back, you swashbucklers. Or maybe you're a knight. I am the knight of the round table. Ha! But then you put the branch away. You close the doors to imagination land because, let's face it, you're not sure what you're doing. Not to worry. You're in luck because today I'm going to show you the basics of how to use a sword. It all starts with the stance. Feet shoulder width apart. One foot in front of the other. Move forward. Move backwards. Move to the side. Other side. It's just like moving around in a crowded city. Get in front of that person. Get behind that person. Dodge! Don't crash into them in the big city. But moving around is not everything. You also need to learn defense with the sword. Huh! Parry! Parry the other side. Ooh, you're learning fast, aren't you? Now it's time to learn the attack. Huh! That's the thrust. Now that you've learned those two, you can put them all together. Bury! Bury! Thrust! Thrust! Congratulations, you have learned the first combo. But that is not all. There are many different positions the sword can take. For example, this one right here, we call the post of the Dana. Bring it to your side, we call this the falcon guard. Bring it in front of you, it's the short guard. Extend, you got the long guard. Put it all together. Ta-da! You have learned your second attack. This one is called a cut. Once again, the two attacks are thrust and cut. You might be asking yourself, what's the difference? Aren't those two the same? No. Watch again. This is a thrust. This is a cut. Still don't see it? I'll tell you this time. A thrust is when the suit moves first, then you step. A cut is when you step and then extend the sword. There are many other positions that you can make with the sword. For example, hey, what's this guy? Learn from me, you'll find out. What about this guy? I call this the crown guard. That was a freebie. And this one is called the window guard. This is called the window guard. This is the window guard. This is the window guard. Okay. There's a lot of window guards. I'm sure there are many other guards out there, but if you learn from me, you will learn a lot more guards than that. Now that you have learned the basics of sword, you can open up the door to imagination land. You can become that pirate once again. You can become that knight once again. You can be anything you want. Because you have the power! Because knowledge is power. And back to you.
Wow, I'm kind of speechless at this point. You blew me away with that sword presentation. Like I mentioned, I studied martial arts when I was younger, never learned how to use a sword, but your explanation and demonstration were phenomenal. And I'm sure you've inspired many out there to look more into this art form. So please come on over to the table for a short interview. Welcome to Toastmaster time. I know you've studied martial arts for some time and various art forms. I also know you're into public speaking and mastering that art. Is there something you've learned in martial arts that has helped you in public speaking? And if so, what might that be? Even just a mentality or discipline?
I would say martial arts is all about putting yourself out there and trying. You're going to start not so good, but the longer you're in there, the more benefits you will get. It's just like in Toastmasters. You start with some skill, but the longer you're there, the more you acquire over time, just like martial arts.
I like it. Very pertinent example and analogy. There's viewers out there who probably want to give a presentation like you did, people out there who have hobbies and they want to share those hobbies with the world, but they struggle to express themselves and communicate. What are some tips you would share for people who have something to share, but they're nervous or they're apprehensive about doing that?
2 words: have fun.
Have fun.
If you have fun, it won't be a problem.
I like that. Somebody once told me, if you're not having fun, then you're not doing it right. And I can tell you're having fun when you're up there. So thank you for sharing your speech once again. Let's hear what your evaluator Santosh has to say. Santosh, please share your evaluation on Derrick's speech.
Thank you, Justin. Tonight is our night, a journey of radical, mystical, transformative, and artist. You had lot of aha moments throughout your speech, Derrick. Aha moment. You illustrated the martial art through aesthetically. I believe you can compete with Bruce Lee. You're so good at not only showing in this stage, you display the true character of the martial art. Defense, attack. The content is crystal clear like water. Clarity is power. Throughout your speech, I admire your content focused on the art of sword, how you can defend, how you can attack. Brilliant, brilliant. And I love the Wawa too, the usage of stage. I was wondering what the Derrick is going to do with this stage. How is he going to show us this martial art? And you use the stage so beautifully without, looks like you're an experienced artist, and I really admire the way how you use the stage. Wonderful. And the third, wow, calling for an action. Knowledge is power, right? Knowing is not enough, doing, you must do it. You kind of reminded me of a Bruce Lee's quote. Now, let's make it more wow. I recommend when you use the word sword to an attack, pause. Ask audience, how many of you have feared about something in life? What is the most are you afraid of? You can show that gesture of a sword. And second, when you want to attack, when you want to step in, how many of you come out of your comfort zone? Like you can add, like even baby doesn't want to come out of mother's womb. You need to push it. Come out of your comfort zone. Go for an attack. I think if you can add those little pause and add something audience can relate, that will add more wow moments to your speech. But again, overall, it's a transformative speech. You're an artist. And I really wanted to know if you would coach me for a sword lesson. And you're a gladiator, blood, sweat, and dust. Let's climb the victory. Thank you, Derrick, for the wonderful speech. And Justin.
Wow, Santosh, what an evaluation. It felt like you're doing your own martial arts form in that evaluation. It was very artistic, very well done, and I'm sure very valuable for our speaker, Derrick. Derrick, thank you again for coming on. I loved how smooth you were with the prop, and I loved how you took this concept, which is new to a lot of people out there, and made it very easy to understand. And then you whet our appetite to learn more about the art of the sword. So I hope you come back, give more speeches on the sword, or just other martial arts concepts in general. So thank you again, and we look forward to having you back. That's all the time we've got for tonight's episode. Thank you so much for watching. Toastmaster Time is filmed in the San Francisco Bay Area. For more information, be sure to check out Toastmastertime.com. Toastmaster Time is sponsored by District 57 Toastmasters. For more information on District 57, please visit d57tm.org. And for general information on Toastmasters, including where you can find a club near you, the Pathways Educational Program, and free public speaking tips, check out Toastmasters.org. I want to thank our wonderful staff and all the volunteers here at the Mid-Peninsula Media Center who made this show possible. And I want to thank our speakers, Derrick, Santosh, and Elaine, for coming here on a rainy day and sharing their wonderful speeches with us. I want to thank them also for evaluating each other. That's really what made tonight's show special. On behalf of all of us at Toastmaster Time, I want to encourage you to join Toastmasters and to keep on talking.